Each one of us must do our part to protect our friends and family from thinking they are alone in this world. We must remind each person that their talents are needed and that we value what they have to say and who they will become in the future. I know that I could not do the work that I do without the invaluable contribution my colleagues here at EPA make on a daily basis. As administrator to the Environmental Protection Agency, I am honored to work with so many outstanding colleagues that have experienced hard challenges in their life due to their sexuality or gender identity, yet still have the courage to be open about who they are and the people they love. Each of them kept focused on their life goals by telling themselves it will get better each day.
The first time I really got in trouble, I was 4 years old, and my dad whipped me for wearing my mother's clothes. So for a lot of my late years of my youth and early teens and into my 20s, I probably thought that I was probably a little insane because there was really nothing to tell me I wasn't.
And while a small town has a lot of things, a lot of benefits to offer, one of the things that it doesn't have oftentimes is a lot of diversity. And so I knew how I was feeling inside, but when I looked around, I didn't see anybody else who I thought looked like me or felt like me.
When I was younger, I would say probably like 8 or 9, there was a revival, and the organist was a male, and he got on the organ, and I remember like some of the women behind me saying, oh, he has sugar in his tank, or he's the F word, or that's a sissy on the organ. And it affected me later on in life, I would say, really badly.
At the time, you were still hearing many anti-gay messages that saying that you weren't part of the society. So it led me to mask or to hide my sexuality.
Some kids at school started spreading rumors about me, and these were people who I had previously trusted and considered my friends. It was hurtful. I didn't know who I could trust. I felt like I was under attack, and I was being bullied for something that I didn't even see in myself yet.
My freshman high school biology class, one day the instructor actually made a statement about the sad case of people who were born with the body of one sex but the mind of another sex. And it was like a light went off over my head. For the first time, I knew that there were other people in the world like me, that I was not the only one.
And when I was first coming out to myself and coming out to others, I would draw strength from the people who were in my life who did accept me. I learned that the more I accepted myself and who I was, the better my life got, the happier I got, the more fulfilled I got.
I decided to move from Rochester, New York to Washington, D.C. And within, I would say, a year, I was so established. I had friends that had similar stories to that I had. I had friends that were supportive.
Once I loved me for me and said, this is me, this is how I'm going to move forward with my life, I had to find a religious house to affirm who I was and who would affirm me, and that's what I found.
Being openly bisexual at EPA has been so much easier than I ever thought that it would be. And that's been really liberating.
When I came to EPA to work full-time, I made the decision right away that I was going to be out from the minute that I got here. I didn't want to start this important part of my life in the closet again. And it was really the best decision I ever made.
When you transition from one gender to another, it's not like coming out as gay. When you transition genders, you look completely different and you're basically in everyone's face. So I knew what I was going to be dealing with people trying to accept me at work. And it went very well. When I went up the elevators, I got off on my floor, and about that time somebody got off the elevator, and it was a man an old man who worked in the same office area that I did. And I'd always wondered how he would accept me once I transitioned. And he stopped and he looked at me and he said, "Brittany," and he came forward and he hugged me.
I love the mission that we have. I feel that it's supportive, and it also extends to my personal life. Because the one thing that we think about here at the EPA is reusing materials that people throw away. And sometimes people want to throw away gays and lesbians. When you really think about the recycling message, we have been reborn.
You are normal. You're as normal as anyone else. And don't let anyone tell you you're not.
I know that today may be a really hard time for some of you, and you need things to change right now. But sometimes life is like a storm. It can be very unpredictable, rough, and do a lot of damage. But eventually, storms go away and things get rebuilt better than ever. But if you feel like you can't weather out this storm alone, then please ask for help. Organizations like the Trevor Project will give you the tools and resources you need to help you. But until then, please hold on. Find something that makes you happy and surround yourself within that feeling, whether that's science, music, or whatever hobbies you enjoy. Find that one thing that keeps you smiling. Then every day will get better.